Welcome back to Get to Know the CEO, the podcast where we go behind the scenes with some of the most visionary leaders shaping the industries today. I'm Ange, and today I'm joined by Pir Arkam, founder and CEO of Proto 21 3D Printing, a Dubai based manufacturing company that's helping redefine what's possible in additive manufacturing. Arkam, thanks so much for being here. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? And
Good as well. So I heard you guys are Dubai based. Super interested because I'm also Dubai based. A lot of people that I talk to are from different parts of the world. Actually, the first time I'm speaking to someone who's also based in Dubai. How's life been?
great. Can't complain. It's a very nice journey. Like it's a roller coaster ride starting back in 2018 and now we're in 2025. So yeah, I can't complain. I'm very grateful.
Amazing. So why don't we go back to the very beginning? What originally inspired you to start Proto 21?
Originally inspired me was a factory that I visited back in Belgium, Proto Labs. And that was a big factory for 3D printing. The technology just inspires me as a standard. And manufacturing is something that I've been always doing since I was a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was a child, I used to play with carpentry myself in my village. And
Mm-hmm.
growing up, I got into engineering and I used to build robots and I used to make
Mm-hmm.
circuits. So something which has to hands on manufacturing and something I can touch and feel. I had an artistic background. Like my father used to teach me sketching and things like that. So I enjoyed doing things like that. So 3D printing is something which I saw for the first time during my graduation. I got an exchange semester in the United States. I saw a 3D printer
Mm-hmm.
for the first time and I fall in love. It was like a fusion of arts and engineering. It was like a small machine doodling some plastic and creating objects. And I was like super impressed. And I said, I want to do this in the rest of my life. I want to talk about it. This is back in 2012. Later on, it just took me on board. And then I realized that a technology is not good enough until unless you're able to sell the technology. I got some international exposure of sales and marketing in Turkey, Germany while I was studying as a scholarship. So that was my inspiration to build a factory where you can create great products and people can be customers. You can create different items with different materials. It's just exciting for me.
I did hear that you guys officially started in 2018. So this was just a few years before COVID hit the world. So how did COVID impact that journey, either personally or as a company?
It is something that gives me goosebumps every single time I talk about because that was the start of my company. And at the same time, I had recently moved my parents to Dubai because my
Mm-hmm.
father was not well. And it was really, really tough. I brought all my team. We were just 7 people back then. Now we're 50, mashallah. So I brought all the team on in my office and I said, guys, we need to like shut down and we have got an instruction and an email from government that you need to like shut down the businesses and go back home and stay safe. So I brought all in and we were like sad because we were like a
Mm-hmm.
startup company, it's cash flow is so difficult, we're hardly taking out salaries and all those challenges that a startup company have. It was tough to say that, and then we had to go back home. But then I was checking LinkedIn and I quickly saw someone in Italy
Mm-hmm.
creating 3D printed face shields. And it was like a eureka moment. And I simply started calling, emailing, and the experience I had back in sales calls, I
Mm-hmm.
started calling a lot of people, everybody that is on my phone in business. And I got lucky. Dubai Police, I got to attract them. And they said, can you come over to this location now? I said, okay. I went to that location and they said, can you create these three face shields by tomorrow? I said,
Mm-hmm.
only if you allow me a permit to travel at this time in my car. I don't want to get fines. They gave me the permit. That permit still is in my wall as a memory. I just went, I picked up one engineer back then, Gabby Matry, and then Kashif. I picked them both and we went to the factory. We opened the factory at night and we printed the face shields. And then I showed him in the morning. And so he asked the first question was, how many days you can print 10,000 of these? And literally I needed more machines to do that. I said, if you allow me to open the factory, he said, no, no worries. I'll give you approvals that you're helping us out. And in this time, because we cannot order them from China right now because it's closed. So literally COVID was a reset for the whole world for many aspects, like in medical also. People are more like me, myself, after COVID or before COVID, we have got more health conscious. We
Mm-hmm.
have got more, I mean, the businesses have improvised in terms of flexibility in work balance in life. Like you can work from home. Right now we're meeting online. The online meetings have jumped up high. Local manufacturing has been more, something that people look up to now. So that because in any case local manufacturing is more something you rely on. So similarly
Mm-hmm.
product 21, like COVID had its own pros and cons, but we were We as a company grew in COVID. We got His Highness Media Office to tweet about us as a company. We were on the official Instagram page of Dubai Police. So we got a lot of media attention. We were like all over the news, Khalij Times, everywhere. So it gave us a lot of boost in marketing. We got a lot of orders. We were operating entire year. We paid bonuses, we paid increments, we paid full salaries, we hired, we bought machines. So the business just grew.
I know you've been pretty busy, and so I wanted to hear like when you're not thinking about 3D printers or your business, what do you do to unwind?
I have a daughter now. I love her the most. I literally did not had anything before her to think about because I used to always think about my business 24/7. Our mind doesn't stop. You're in the sleep. Literally, I used to think about in the business in the morning and what I'm going to do, what clients I'm going to call, what designs I have to make, what employees I have to manage, what suppliers I have to work with, like all of that. Honestly, my life is mostly around Product 21 and then my family. My father, who recently passed away, was a stroke patient. I used to look after him. But now I have a baby girl. I look after her, my wife, my mother who's living with me. If it is not my business, it's my family. If it is not my family, it's my business. So there's nothing else in my life, to be honest. And then now, recently, I started gymming and looking after myself. Now the business is established. I can take some break and I can sleep better. I have started this new thing, Whoop, changing my life. I'm loving it a lot. I'm trying to walk out. I'm trying to learn stretching and I'm looking after my health now.
In Proto 21, you guys have grown to a, you mentioned, 50-person team with over $4 million in revenue. What has the process of scaling the company been like for you in the past few years?
So I come from a multicultural background. So I'm from Pakistan. That's where I grew up. During my bachelor engineering, I got a chance to go to United States, where it changed my life. Then I have lived in Turkey for 2.5 years. I lived in Germany for at least 7, 8 months. So I was on scholarships, and I have traveled a lot. So one thing I realized, I've worked in a lot of companies too as an employee, right? So before Product 21, I've worked in Product now 7 years, and before Product 21, I've switched maybe 12 jobs, and I've even worked in McDonald's, and I've even worked in a top companies in Pakistan, Salsoft Technologies, which is I was a business development manager there, and I was selling websites. So I've seen a lot from a lot of different cultures. I have slept on train station. I lived the highest life in Dubai. I lived the highest life in Paris. I used to go for New Year's to Paris. Like I used to earn that much in my part-time jobs and in Germany and Turkey that I used to just travel a lot. So I've seen a lot of part of life. One thing that I want to be and I want to inspire to be is to be a people centric in a way that I want everybody around me to grow along with me. For example, in my company, the basic cultures is that every single body that is in the company, he has come to us without any previous background. So he came to us and grew up. You know what I mean? And there's never a manager appointed on top of anyone. So I hire someone, I make him a manager, and people go under him. And they keep growing like that as a tree. So we never bring up a person who becomes a manager of somebody out of nowhere. We want to try to make them grow. So in the company culture is like, if you cannot grow in Product 21, it's not for you. So you must grow. Like you must have an increment in the first year. If you cannot have an increment, it means you're not growing. You're not adding more value than you should. You're not giving your best. At the same time, we want to make sure that you go home at time. We don't want you to sit back because if you cannot give right time to your body and you cannot give right time to your family, genuinely believe that if you're doing right in your home, you can do right in your office. It's not other way. If you're having enough sleep, if you're eating well, and if you're like a believer, if you're looking after your family, only then you can be a good professional, not other way around. That's just my ideology as a person I've grown up with. We have incorporated, and so far it's lucky. It's working very well, to be honest. From 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., the lunch break, we close up the lights. So you must take rest. You should not work. And we want you to like take rest. We're very lucky as a company. We've got good clients. We're growing up. We got world record for 3D printing. We started very small. We look after our people a lot and it makes a difference. Every single team member in my company, they work like it's their home and they work like the company belongs to them. They have the ownership of the company.
When it comes to innovation, how is Proto 21 staying ahead of the curve in 3D printing?
So when it comes to innovation, our ideology is very basic. Our ideology is to never feel shy trying, and we wish to fail. Although we never fail. Alhamdulillah, we have never failed a project. We have taken some crazy projects on board. We've done some incredible jobs in the market, which people did not know that it was possible through 3D printing. But we wish to fail. Unlike last time when I was bringing up the world's like largest structure kind of project, it was the timeline. When I looked at the timeline, I was like, guys, here's the first project we're definitely going to fail. And they were looking at my face and what is saying. what he's trying to say. We got the first project that we actually gonna maybe fail, because I don't think so we're gonna finish this project. This is impossible project. It was a world record in a very complex structure. It was all organic. You needed 20,000 3D printed parts, and they all have to work together to build at a site and look nice. So we love trying. Nobody likes to fail, but I mean, we don't shy of failing. We want to try different things. And when it comes to innovation, we're always focused to our company. Like, we don't focus on the market. So what it means is we always keep on challenging ourselves, because we are the leading company in 3D printing, right? So we build the market standards in 3D printing here in GCC region. So we always challenging ourselves. How can we take it to the next level? So this is a small model that we have 3D printed, and this has this much detail in it. What's the next step from there? So we check online. We have learning mindset. Doesn't matter if it is a CEO or if it is like somebody from bottom to top. Everybody has to learn from everyone. There's no any criteria that say I go down and meet everybody. How's it going? How can we improve? And I'm always asking around with my team. They come up to me and directly send me a message, boss, this is the process of right now, what's going on, and this is how we can improve. Okay, let's do it. What do you need for what equipment you need to improve this process? So we need this. Okay, I don't look at the price of the machine. I say, let's go buy it. So my managers have authority to make decisions without me being involved, and they can take decisions like as big as buying machines. So this gives a freedom. So engineers do not think of cost. They think about getting the thing done. Similarly, salespeople think about cost, not think about how the things will be done, because that's the project team's headache. So everybody focuses on what they're good in. They're motivated. They must smile in my company. If I come to the office and somebody's not smiling, I'm like, go home. No, you're not happy here. You got to fix that first and then come back here, because it just changes the ethos here. So in terms of innovation, we have a learning mindset on topmost level. Everybody is open to come down and tell me how I can improve in my job. There's no any stupid levels, and I can go down and talk to anybody and say how we can improve this part. And then when it comes to clients, we want to, like, it doesn't matter that if client is happy, it doesn't matter to us. What matters is if we did the best job or no. And then, of course, sometimes client says that, okay, can you do this color? We say yes, and he's happy, but we know that we haven't done a good job, because we can do better than this. Our capability and capacity is far better than this is. So we look at us, at what we can give, rather than what people expect. So we build up the expectation. That's our ideology and mentality towards innovation. We keep on, there's always room for improvement. There's no end. The end is maybe not even the Mars. So tomorrow, if 3D printing is going to go Mars, we want to be part of it.
I'm quite curious what's been the most rewarding part of building Proto 21, and also on the flip side, what's been unexpectedly tough about running a company in the manufacturing space.
Honestly speaking, the most rewarding and the thing that makes me most happy is to be able to enable. I'm grateful to God and my partners and my business leaders, to the UAE government, to build a country like this, where I can come from Pakistan, fly in this country, starting from 1,600 dirhams and reach here. I used to live with 8 people in one room back in 2018 in Burjuman station. I have recently bought a villa. When I got the keys and I was looking at the villa, and then again look at the keys and look at the villa, I was like, this is not real. This is dream. And this is something they did not even ask for. I never in my wildest dreams thought of that we'll get a Guinness World Record for 3D printing, world's largest 3D printed structure. So it's not even the things that I dreamt or I wished for. So it just inspires me to do more. And I believe genuinely it has not only to do with you do good or you best in your job. You have to be also ethical. You got to be honest. You have to have integrity. You have to be honest to your people. And when you see your employees joining you at 2,000 dirham salary, 2,500 salary, and now reaching up to 15,000 dirham salary, for example, you just feel like you have made a change in the society. You've created jobs. You have made changes in people's behavior. You have made changes in people's skills. You have upgraded people from where they come from all different aspects. UAE is like a beautiful place where we all come from different countries and feel like this is our home, right? So to be able to make that happen and see people uplifted, to see people growing up, to be able to help and support people in their hard times. In Corona, for example, I had 7 families on my head to look after. To be able to help those families in the Corona times, to be able to give out, it was completely most rewarding feeling that you can think. To be able to help your family, to be able to help others, like we donate a lot. We donate like 2.5% of our income in our countries, our partners. To be able to enable is a beautiful feeling. The second thing is the most biggest challenge that you were talking about. For me, was a scaling up. I never thought that scaling up the business was that simple. So from one machine, you have 200 machines now.
Yeah.
From one person, you have 50 people now, or maybe from three people, you have 50 people now. So I thought scaling is just hiring and buying machines, right? But it's not that simple. See, buying a machine, hiring an employee is the easiest task. The actual task is that how to manage it, how to optimize the factory. And especially with 3D printing, I always like had a very high hopes that it will be the like, I love the business, I'm into it. Giving up your passion is a very, very difficult thing. I love 3D printing, but now I'm out of technology but looking into business. Like me being an engineer who's enthusiast and passionate about 3D designing, 3D printing, and you have to like not do that, but rather do accounts and follow payments or sale, or I love sales, but like accounts, costing, and things like that. Somebody wants to do some crazy job, and you're like, I want to do it, but then he cannot afford it, and you cannot afford it. So to let it go, just because you love it so much, you want to really 3D print a Lamborghini, for example, but you can't because it's not a right idea. To give up on these kind of things and coming from a enthusiastic like a child's mind towards the business, it's a completely different story. It's very lonely up there, by the way. When you're on top of a company, every buck stops at your corner. So anything goes wrong in the company, you are responsible. I didn't know that. I mean, I would hire employees, and when people work for me, although in my past experiences it was a case, it was our problem, not the boss's problem. But if you want to be a real leader, if you want to be a real businessman who wants to grow the company, grow your people around, it's your problem. Every problem that is in your company is a director's problem. To accept it and to be responsible for it is not easy.
Some closing reflections on today's episode for aspiring entrepreneurs who are just getting started, who or maybe who have actually already started but don't know where to go yet. What's one piece of advice you would give to them based on your own journey?
That I always talk about with most of my friends and family and people I'm with. If you cannot be a good employee, try not to be an employer. If you don't know how to follow, don't try to be a leader. If you don't know how to follow instructions, don't think of giving one. You have to feel like an employee. How does employee feel and what he needs to be able to raise a nice team member and bring in some empathy in you. You hire somebody and give him a salary, you're not doing any favor to him. He's giving you his time. He's working in your company, leaving his family, taking away his sleep, staying away his family from different countries, coming to work for you. You got to understand that people have different needs and different backgrounds. And if you understand them and you work with them, you need to earn the loyalty. You need to earn the honesty. You have to earn those things. You cannot demand them. You have to earn the respect. So it's very important to just have an experience of how to work in a company, having a discipline. So important to have a discipline to be an entrepreneur, because entrepreneur is like a army man. You can't say no. So if you're ready for that, if you're ready to take an issue like such where you're in front of a wall and the door is closed, so you have to think out of the box. Either you go under the door, you go over the door, or you break the door and go through. So you have to have that mentality first before you get into starting a business. It's not an easy journey. You have to give away your friends, you have to give away your family time, you have to give away your health. I couldn't sleep first 2 years. I used to sleep only 3 to 4 hours a day. And now I see what's going on. I've lost my hair. My Whoop age is saying I'm 37 years old, although I'm 34 years old. I'm trying to work that out now. If you love something that much that you can do that all, then get into this. And then advice, don't get into it. It's not maybe worthy enough.
I guess if you're not ready for that, it's not time to be a CEO yet. Huge thank you to Arkham for joining us and sharing such honest and thoughtful reflections. If you're inspired as I am, be sure to subscribe and share this episode with anyone who's dreaming of building something of their own. Catch you next time on Get to Know the CEO.